Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Motivation Monday. We are right in the middle of summertime. Hopefully, you're enjoying lots of time outside with your family, with friends. And with that, we're in a different season. We're in the summertime. We already been through part of winter, spring, summer, but we also have seasons in our lives, and they have their own challenges as we go through them. So, Kathy, have you noticed how much has changed over the last few weeks? Your daughter's volleyball season has ended. The girls are all heading in different clubs and different directions. You were in Orlando near me, then you went to Cocoa Beach, and just as life has been happening, it's been very full of transitions, it seems, for you.
It really has. And I was standing on the beach one afternoon after the tournament and just watching the girls laugh together. And I realized that this chapter was coming to an end. They played so well together this past year. And now the whole team is heading in different directions. And then I've been thinking about my parents getting older and then watching my 15-year-old practice her driving and becoming more independent, and then continuing to build this ministry. And it's just made me realize that life is always changing. We're always in changing seasons. And sometimes we celebrate those changes, and sometimes they're harder than what we expect them to be. But life is always changing.
That is for sure. And I've been feeling that too, but in different areas. As I've been continuing to build this ministry and growing in my career, God has reminded me that every season has something different for us. And there have been those seasons where I've been asked to learn a lot, and seasons where He's asked me to work quietly when no one's really even noticed. Then there's other times where doors just open. And then there's even simply seasons where God just said, Brian, just be faithful right where you're at. And this all goes back to the stay slow that we're going to talk about. But I've realized that a lot of my frustration came when I was trying to live the next season before God had me finish the one that I was already currently in.
Yeah, I think that's where many of us struggle, Brian. We kind of compare ourselves to people in completely different seasons. And we wonder, why doesn't our life look like theirs? But maybe they're in the harvesting season and we're just in the planting season, or they're resting, but we're in our sprint season. And no wonder why we can get frustrated.
Yeah, that's exactly true. Just imagine a farmer that's planting seeds, then getting discouraged 2 weeks later because there wasn't a harvest yet. We'd all tell them, hey, you're expecting things in the wrong season. But spiritually, we can do that same thing all the time.
Yeah, that is such a good picture. We think something is wrong with us, though, and when we really are just expecting to be in a summer season when God is maybe doing the winter work within our hearts.
Yeah, and so Ecclesiastes reminds us there's a time for everything, and there's a season, and there's an activity under the sun. And God created seasons on purpose, not just in nature, but also in our lives. And every season has its own surrendered action.
Amen. So this week, instead of asking, how do I get out of this season? Try asking the Lord, what are you inviting me into this season? Every season does have a purpose, and surrender helps us discover it.
Yeah, and so we're excited this week's conversation because we're going to unpack what surrendered activity and action and yielding and all those things look like in every season of life. So the stay slow, the A and the Y, the action and the yield, whether you're in the season of waiting or growing or harvesting or just letting go, God has something to teach you, and He'll meet you right where you are.
So here's a challenge for today. Before you take your next big step, pause and ask the Lord, what season am I in? And what does surrender look like here? And we think that one question might change the way you see everything this week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow for Topic Tuesday.